Hello, everybody. It's Friday, and if it's Friday, that means it's time for a topic of the week. So, this week's topic, well, actually, before we do that, standard logistics, let's get that out of the way. Thank you to everybody who last week contributed to the things that bothered you, or you hated, or you didn't like, or you wanted to see changed about Warhammer 8th Edition. There's a lot of interest right now in the community about keeping sort of some version of 8th alive and making some changes. And I know Nick from Long Island Wargaming is spearheading that. And so I appreciate everybody very much who did a video on that, who commented on that video, and put their voice into the arena of possible changes. I think that's really awesome, and it's the kind of thing that we need if we as a community are going to both, one, stay together and active, and two, look at keeping that game alive. So, which even though, as we all know, I'm on board for AOS, I very much love the idea of having an evolving rule set for 8th too, because I still play that game on occasion, and it's a lot of fun, and there are things that always bothered me too. So, if you want to see people's lists and the links to all those videos, I will put the link to the previous week down below, as always, so you can go look at all that. And there's a lot of great comments there, a lot of people with very good ideas. All right, that out of the way, let's turn to this week's topic of the week. So, with Age of Sigmar upon us, and it's something Paul K said in a video this week really struck me. He was talking about how, there's some unrest in the community and whatnot, and so he went back to the thing that got him into this hobby in the first place, and that was hobbying, painting, modeling, converting, all that kind of stuff. And I think that no matter what game we're playing, with a few exceptions, uh, it is the one tie that binds, right? We all, I know for me, when I used to look at these armies on the table, I thought, man, that is so cool. And I would look at pictures of painted models, and I still do to this day. I look at things and think, God, I will never be able to achieve that. But I want to try. I'm going to push it to get, very nice. I'm going to push it to get as close as I possibly can. So I think that's the sort of glue that holds all of us together. I don't care what you're playing, War Machine, old versions of Warhammer, Old Hammer, Age of Sigmar, it doesn't matter. And also, I think if there's a lot of people interested in Age of Sigmar, that means there might be a lot of people doing some modeling. So what I thought is, why don't this week's topic of the week be for everyone to do a fun video about something they did with their hobby, with hobbying, that they were really proud of and how they did it. So I want you to talk through how you actually did what you did. Did you do a paint job you were really happy? Show us the model and talk through it. Did you do a conversion you were really proud of? Awesome. Show the model, talk through what inspired the conversion. Where do you go for your inspiration? What bits did you use? How did you get the bits, right? If you did something cool with green stuff, what did you do? That kind of thing. And I think that there's a lot of people, obviously we're all very interested in hobbying, or a lot of us are, and we all want to have cool models on the table. I think that's probably a true statement, even if you don't want to do the hobbying yourself. You'd like to have a good looking army on the table. So I thought this would be a fun topic to reach out and unite us all together, because who doesn't love hobbying and tips about hobbying? So, for me, okay, mine comes out of a question that was raised to me when I mentioned in my previous video with Paul when we're doing our hobby adventure, I mentioned doing green stuff cloaks. And I said they're really a pretty easy thing to do if you're so inclined. And I had done a bunch of them on Gutter Runners, who you probably can't see, but they're back there. I had converted the clan rats out of the Island of Blood, or various clan rats out of the actual box, I think, to have cloaks, so they could be little sneaky rats. So, green stuff cloaks. Here's one currently drying right now. There you go. I don't know how well you can see that. Okay. So, what did I do to make that happen? All right. So, I started with some green stuff, and I flattened it out, kept it very wet. Wet hands, wet tools, keep everything wet. Use Vaseline if you can. I don't happen to have any right now, so I just use water. But Vaseline's usually better because it doesn't dry out. And smoothed out a nice piece. and used these little guys, which are little, they look like, it looks like a brush, but it's not. There's no bristles there. That's a little silicone piece. Use that to smooth out and create some like definition and some lines in it. And then you can see my little sticks. There you go, little sticks, all glued in there. But they're not actually glued to the model. They're just glued to the base, and I'll pop them off. And I use that to hold the cape in a sort of blowing, billowy position. Now, as this hardens, I'll come back to this in maybe 20 minutes, a half hour when it's a little harder. I'll work it again, just kind of shape it a little more how I want. And then I'll just leave it and let it harden there. When it's all hard and set, pull the sticks out. It'll stick in that shape. These little sticks are little bamboo skewers. You can buy them at your grocery store or anywhere. You get a bajillion of them for, I don't know, $1 or $2. And they are an unbelievably good tool when you're working with green stuff because you can effectively sort of pin your green stuff into unusual positions and let it dry that way. You're basically just building a, I don't know, a little framework for it that you're going to take away once everything's done and dry. So there you go. That's my little modeling tip when you're green stuffing a cloak or something. If you want to create that effect, your little bamboo skewers and your little silicone putty tools. These guys, if you just search for like clay shaping tool or clay shaping rubber tool or something on Amazon, you can find little sets of these for $5 or $6. They'll last you for the rest of your life. So again, not a bad investment. Because unlike a brush, they don't have bristles to go bad. So they're pretty much good forever. Just think about the size you get when you order them. Size 0 is what I had right there. So that's quite small. You get a size 2, it's bigger. It can be harder to work stuff in, but it might be better if you're doing like big rivets or shapes into things. So there you go. That's my hot hobby tip for the week. But I want all of you to share yours. What is the thing you're proud of? What's the neat little trick that you figured out when you're doing your modeling that you want to share with the community? Let's see some awesome hobby tips, and I'll see you next time.